Good morning, Morgan County. Woohoo! It's time for our Positive Podcast from the Morgan County Partnership. With our hosts, I'm Mrs. Hott, the Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today's Positive Podcast is called Positive Actions for Emotional Wellness. 4 tips to help you be a more patient person. Science says you'll be happier.
Hi.
Wait to talk about this. Hi, Sheima.
Hola, es hora de acción positiva. Hi, community. I am Mrs. Sheima, Morgan County Partnership Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today, Positive Podcast is called, in Spanish, Acciones Positivas para Bienestar Emocional. 4 consejos que te ayudarán a ser una persona más paciente. La ciencia dice que serás más feliz.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheima. All right, neighbors, let's get moving here. We're going to talk about, are you ready? Are you excited? Are you impatient? We're going to talk about the word patience today. In our podcast from the Morgan County Partnership, we join you weekly for an exciting look at positive programs, news, and features with core value words that help us build empathy and to help families and wellness in our homes, in our communities, and around the world.
Whether you are 2 or 92, each new Partnership Positive podcast we will feature fun and exciting information to help you manage and balance life here in Morgan County to West Virginia and beyond.
We're ready. We're ready to discover today's new core value that will help us to build a network of neighbors where we all work together in our community. We all help each other get through another day and with resources to connect each other and meet our basic needs. And sometimes our basic needs, it's just taking a look at core values, simple words like patience, and taking a new look at them. And that's what we're going to do today, Miss Sheima. Hey, are you ready?
Let's get started.
Okay, our Positive Podcast. Today, positive actions for emotional wellness. 4 tips to help you be a more patient person. Science says will make you happier. Thanks for listening, neighbors. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to our podcast. And remember, if you'd like to follow along with Sheima and I, we're also on our Positive Action YouTube channel too. Today, Miss Sheima and I will be chatting about emotional wellness, our 4th and final unit for our Positive Action curriculum in Morgan County and in West Virginia. And our next character value word is patient. All right, Miss Sheima, we talk about positive actions for all ages, and we talk about values today in our community to build a caring community for a better tomorrow. Okay. Can you help us, Miss Sheima? Can you share with us what does the word patient mean? And what is patience? And can you also help me? I'm curious. Can you, in Spanish, I'd love to hear it. Help us. How would we say it in Spanish?
Sure. Patient in Spanish is kind of the same like English. It's paciencia and means the ability to wait calmly for through how you say that word? Through something.
Mm-hmm. So you wait for it, and then you have to wait through it. I kind of like that. I listened to that on a video for elementary when we were making our daily videos about patience. It's to be calm for something to happen. Like, I can't wait for COVID to go away, right? But we also have to be patient through it too. And so, like, we want it to be done, but how can we be patient to get us there? So I think that sort of encompasses the whole thing. And there is a science behind it too. And Ms. Sheima, I want to share with you an article I found with you and our neighbors. It's from, let me find the site here. It's like a industrial Inc.com. Yep, from Inc.com. There are 4 tips to help you be a more patient person. All right, moms and dads, sometimes we lose our patience, right? And I want to share this because science says if we can practice being more patient, guess what? We can be happier. Isn't that crazy? we can all use a little more patience, and especially in this fast-paced world we live in. Now, I know we've slowed down a bit this year, haven't we, Sheima? That crazy thing called COVID sort of made us slow down a bit. And I've really, you know what? I feel like it's made me more happier. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I sort of missed the stuff like from a year ago, but I really feel calmer. And I guess the science, we're going to hear about this, how that's good for your brain. But has it been like that for you? Even though we've had to slow down, do you feel more calmer too, Sheima?
I think make us focusing focusing on what it's important, like what it's more valuable, instead of like just the things that it's there around us, because we keep going and we just in this wheel doing productivity, creativity all the time, keep going, make stuff for everybody. So when COVID comes, everybody was home, everybody was like, okay, we have to calm down now and think what it's important and what it's valuable for ourselves and for others.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Can I tell you something, Sheima? You're so smart. That's exactly what it makes you focus on what's more important and more valuable. And that's what it's about, neighbors. When we're patient and we wait calmly for it and through it, it gives us an opportunity to see what we value. And I want to tell you something, Sheima. I just thought about this as I was listening to you. Yesterday, Dan and I went to a funeral. I'll share this. I wasn't expecting to do this, but yesterday morning I was out of the studio, and one of Dan's cousins passed away and in Hagerstown, and he was 85, and he had some health issues, but the stupid stinking COVID, he died from COVID. And part of me, in my impatience, I get pissed at all the changes, and I feel impatient, and it's like, oh, I gotta find my mask, I go out the door, all these other things we have to do. But we were at a funeral for a family member who passed from COVID, and standing around outside, it was a beautiful spring day, with some cousins we haven't seen in 14 months because of COVID. We were doing it differently, but we were having to be calm for it and through it, right? And we were calmly outside with our mask, talking with our mask, and just kind of catching up over the last year and a half. But it was stupid, stinking, crazy COVID that made us wait, didn't it? Stupid, stinking, crazy COVID made us impatient. Stupid, stinking, crazy COVID made me not feel very calm. Yeah. Like, I didn't know he passed from COVID. So I'm like, I'm tired of, it's people, this is just one person who died, but what is it, like 560,000 people have died because of COVID? Stupid, stinking, crazy. I want to cuss, I'm not feeling very calm.
You can say words. Beep.
Beep. Yeah. But and we do need to stop and wait calmly for it and wait through it. And it's hard right now to still be patient, isn't it, Sheima?
Yeah.
And one of the things, one of the things that you just said was where you found the value. When we got to talking, and it's like what I discovered in the last 14 months, I like being home, and we said this in the time, like we're about to send Isaac off. And this last year, if we weren't home for COVID, we would have not waiting through it. We wouldn't have heard all that music. We wouldn't have heard him practicing for his audition. We wouldn't have watched all those movies, because we would have still been in that fast pace. And this is what this says, this article. Think about it for a minute. So just stop and think about it, so. And then, like you said, when you stop and think about it, then you go, whoa, we're finding out what was really valuable, aren't we? It's the people. You were getting ready to say something. What were you going to say?
I think of something that you said before.
I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine. It's just I was thinking, because this is for parents too, and for caregivers, and maybe for teachers, and everybody that lives with somebody that it's growing up too.
Yeah.
And sometimes me as a mom or as a program facilitator, I want stuff right now, or I can be patient with the emotions of my kids. So the thing, if I want my kid to be patient, I have to be the example. We always talk about this. So we are like the mirror, what they're looking for. So if I'm trying, if she has like a meltdown or something like this, or she's impatient for something, I try to breathe, take a time. She's gonna see that. Maybe the first time it's not gonna work, second time it's not gonna work, third time it's not gonna work, but this is a practice. This is something that we're gonna teach them over and over, and teach ourselves too. So if we teach ourselves, they're gonna be okay too, because they're gonna see how we react in some situations. So if I take my time and I breathe when she's having a meltdown because she wants a chocolate cookie, but it's not the time for a chocolate cookie, I'm like, okay, mommy's here for you. I breathe. Let's take a moment to breathe and calm down, and let's wait for the next things that we have to do. And building this for our kids, being as our reflection, like they were gonna see, it's gonna help them too. They're gonna be, oh, wait a minute, I see this at home, I see this around me. If I want something, maybe I can take a time to breathe and calm down, be mindful, and see what I'm gonna need now, instead of being anxious and I need this right now, or I can't wait. So let's teach ourselves to teach others. Let's start with us. Let's be mindful with ourselves first. That's what I want to say.
And the value of patience, that you do reach actually a different happiness when you practice. And like you're saying, you may take a few times, but when you practice that patience, you discover a new happiness, don't you?
And it's patient in the process, because patient is something that we learn. So don't be impatient with patient.
Yeah, right.
Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the learning and the process. It's gonna take time. Sometimes, like we are not impatient with a baby that start to walk. Like we're like, come on, hurry up! You have to walk
Yeah.
now. But for somebody like it's more mature, like maybe a teenager, like you have to do right now. This why they're gonna have their time too. They're gonna have their way, and everybody's different. Everybody doing it in a different moment. So we are patient with them. Why we are not patient with us? Let's have patience for us too. And if we have patience for ourselves, we're gonna have patience for others. Yeah, everything starts with us.
Awesome. Start with us, and allow yourself to give yourself that time. Right. Absolutely. Well, neighbors, let's take a look what Inc.com says about the science, how we can be happier if we can practice patience. Okay. And it starts off from Inc.com. They say, think about it for a minute. We all want instant gratification, and we want things without waiting, don't we? Yeah, I know. We expect packages to be delivered the same day or faster. We expect immediate results at the gym. Wouldn't that be nice, right? We have food delivered to us, ready pre-cut, so that we can get a meal cooked in 10 minutes faster. Now, I don't know about that. I've never done that before. Is that a thing? You get it all pre-cut and it's ready?
But I don't think here in Berkeley we got that. I think more in the city.
Yeah, I guess so. We can't get food delivered to our house. Foxes will deliver a pizza, but it takes about an hour, and it's cold when it gets here. It's not a good experience. But anyway, out outside in more less rural areas, food can get delivered, and pre-cut. Wow, that's crazy too. I guess that would, you know what? I gotta think about that for a minute. Wouldn't that be cool if you didn't have to cut everything up and it was all done? Wow, that takes a lot of time. But you know what? Hey, one of the things I like though, Sheima, is when, like last night, when I'm cutting stuff up, getting ready for dinner, and about that time of evening, and it happens a lot with Dan, he'll come over and like we'll open up a bottle of wine, and while I'm cutting, he'll sit there at the sink while I'm chop, and I kind of like that time to.
Yeah, that's pretty too.
Getting it all well anyway.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
but
it's
a
like
lot
a
of times,
connection time too. Like
it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even doing dishes and stuff like that. And we want to. I wish dishes would happen faster, right?
Oh yeah, me too.
But I guess And a lot of places you can. I don't know about it, neighbors. Maybe you guys do. You get things pre-cut. It also says here, we can even have a book read to us or summarized for us so we don't have to read it to them. And I thought about that because I just finished a book from the book club Katie signed me up for. And I've never tried that. Have a book read to me or summarized for me. Although when Violet was home last weekend, was To Kill a Mockingbird, Levi has to read for 10th grade English. And she's like, Levi, did you read it? Or did you go to some place where it's quicker? And I didn't know, but he was doing that.
Don't say that. Maybe the teacher is going to listen to this.
Right. Well, I'll keep going. Inc.com. They say, all right, books. But that is sort of cool, though. You can find benefits to reading books in class. Reading books online. So you can read books while you're driving if you listen to them, podcast books. And I think there's benefit to that, too. And we even do that for our kindness collection on Tuesdays, right? Reread on positive actions. Inc.com says, I think that has led us to a life where we have very little patience. Maybe it's time we slow down and practice a little patience. Here are 4 ways to be the patient person you never thought you could be. Number 1, make yourself wait. Make yourself wait.
What that
Now,
means.
make yourself wait. What does that mean? They say the best way to practice patience is to make yourself wait. A study published in Psychological Science shows that waiting for things actually makes us happier in the long run. Start with something small, like waiting a few extra minutes to drink that milkshake, and then move on to something bigger. You'll begin to gain more patience as you practice. So practice, you make yourself wait. So like if you're about to eat that cookie, instead of just automatically just say, okay, I'm going to wait for a minute before I eat it.
Or
I've never tried that.
You know what's happened to me sometimes? I'm going to share this.
Okay.
We're just running and cooking. Well, adult life.
Yeah.
So you have a cookie there and you're like, oh, I'm going to just eat it. But think about this. You really enjoy the sensation of the flavor of chocolate, and you're thinking about it and you smell it, you just put it in your mouth and done. But if you think, well, I'm gonna eat that cookie when I'm gonna sit down with a cup of tea and read a book, and then I'm gonna eat this cookie mindful and peaceful when I have my 10 minutes for me. I can't wait for later. It's gonna be more impactful and more lovely and more wonderful.
Yep. If you make yourself wait. Right. I was looking and last week, Sheima, as we were looking for videos I was looking at different things for the classroom. And this one, it's called The Patient Dot. And it's going to be our story on Tuesday, The Patient Dot. And it's called Grow Your Patient Dot. And it was exactly this. I'd already read from Inc.com. Make your patient dot grow bigger by practicing. And instead of doing something right away, you might start with 30 seconds and then a minute. And it's like it says a milkshake here. First thing I thought, well, your milkshake is going to melt or your ice cream is going to melt, but it could be a cookie. And the thing that it does when you practice that, eventually you can wait a little longer. And then what you discover is that, like you said, Sheima, boy, that was good. And you start to appreciate, and you know what? It grows your gratitude. And I feel like if we're always like, go, we miss our gratitude. We don't appreciate. So we're not thankful for how good that cookie is. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. So grow your patient dot. That's a good story. All right. Number 2 says, stop doing things that aren't important, right? Stop doing things that aren't important. Okay. It says here, Inc.com says, we all have things in our lives that take time away from what is important. Okay, so once you think, neighbors, think about what's important. One way of removing stress from our lives is to stop doing those things that aren't important. Take a few minutes and evaluate your week. Look at your schedule from when you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Take out 2 or 3 things that you don't do that aren't important, but take up a lot of time. It's time to learn to say no to things that cause stress and make us impatient. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Mrs. Hott and Neighbors. It just, when you read that, I was listening to you, I was thinking in something that takes me a lot of time. Instagram.
Oh, okay, guys. Guilty, right? Is Instagram important? No, right? I mean, teenagers, right? Looking for that click and they're like, it's not important, is it? Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things sort of we were forced to do, we kind of had to stop doing some of the extra stuff during the lockdown, right? And I started doing other things. And then I discovered new things. I didn't know I like to cook as much as I do and cut up vegetables, All right, let's move on. Number 3 says, be mindful of the things making you impatient. Inc.com says most people have several tasks in their head and they jump from thought to thought without taking the time to finish one task first. Dan says I do that all the time. Like I talk about things and I never finish something and it finishes in my head, but I didn't finish saying it. I don't know. I didn't finish saying it. But yeah, take the time. Stop jumping from things to things so much. We live interrupted lives as we try to multitask. Moms, I know, right? We do this, and it's frustrating when we feel we aren't making progress. It is better to be mindful of our thoughts, and the best way to understand this is to write down what makes you impatient. Let's try that. This will help you slow down and focus on one task at a time and remove those things that stress you out. So think about the things. What are the things that make you impatient, Ms. Sheima?
What things makes me impatient?
I think waiting on the microwave, like I'm like, oh, come on. And isn't that awful? Sometimes it's only 30 seconds to heat up my coffee. I'm like, really? Can I wait 30 seconds? Right?
I'm thinking.
The microwave makes me impatient, and it's supposed to be a faster thing. Do you have things that make you impatient?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, things that makes me impatient.
What do you think, neighbors? Are you thinking neighbors? Think of things that make you impatient. What about traffic? That makes Dan impatient. Like waiting for somebody at a stop sign. It's like, oh, why didn't they go already? Somebody in front of you. I don't know. That really doesn't bother me. I'm just like, well, we'll get going whenever we get going. But
saving money makes me impatient.
Oh, that takes time.
Yeah.
That takes time.
Yeah, I want it now, and they're like, no, I have to save it if I want to get something, or I want to save it for a trip or something like this. That makes me impatient.
That's true too. Another thing, we're getting ready to, like, I want to grow basil on the back porch. We did that during the lockdown. I loved it, but I'm so impatient. You have to wait. You can't cut the leaves too soon, or sometimes gardening makes me impatient, like growing stuff. I don't know how people do it. My sister-in-law, Tammy, oh my gosh, she grows this stuff. She has such patience with the garden, but I'm like, let's go.
We have to have Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah. Oh, now there's a soul. I had to brag about him. He's one of our positive partners.
Yeah.
And he can grow, and he's patient with it. But there's all that work involved too, and that's another thing, the weeding and all that kind of stuff. I'm not very patient with that.
He was saying for him, gardening was like a mindful time for him. He was like his peaceful time.
I have to try another way of thinking.
Yeah, see?
Oh, and that brings us to number 4.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in that, when you're impatient, relax and take deep breaths. Most of all, just relax and take deep breaths, i.com says. Taking slow, deep breaths can help calm the mind and the body. This is the easiest way to help ease any impatient feeling you are experiencing. If breathing doesn't help, I find taking a walk to clear your head can be helpful in getting refocused on what's important. The point is to find some time for you and to decompress. It's time we all slow down and practice a little more patience. We would be less stressed and more mindful of the things that stress us out, right? Mm-hmm. If that leads to being happier, isn't it worth a try? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's
Relax
like even with our breathing, we never stop and be focusing and mindful for our breathing. We just breathe automatically, but we never stop and think, hey, I'm going to feel the oxygen coming to my body.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, Sheima? I know sometimes it didn't happen until COVID and the lockdown and the pandemic, but I was also having hot flashes, neighbors. And in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. But just the other day, when you were telling me about this thing where you breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You know, I try that at like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm awake again. Why
you try it? That's so cool.
Yeah. And I just go in and I stop, like the article says, I stop talking about things. And then I start thinking about the things that aren't important. It's like, I don't need to worry about that at 3:00 in the night. It'll be fine tomorrow morning. And I think of the same things over and over again at 3 a.m. And if I just breathe, and by the time I get over to here, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like, and the science, I feel happier. I took the time to practice and I'm happy. I mean, you know what? I'm saying this, but I didn't explain what that was. Yeah. Can you tell everybody, Sheima, what this means? Because, I'm sorry. Yeah, listen to Sheima. She told me this
you explain it better. Your English is better than mine.
Yeah. Well, Sheima, tell. Can you tell the neighbors why I was sharing this? Because I did do it at 3:00 in the morning, 2 mornings in a row, and I went, oh.
You have to explain it. What is this? Like, you have to take your hand and the finger of the other hand. Like, if I have my right hand like this open, mm-hmm. and then I take my finger of the left hand. So I start with my. How is the name of this finger?
Thumb. That's your thumb. Yeah.
Your thumb. So I take the finger. What's the name of this finger? Well, if you are in YouTube, you're gonna see this. But if you are in SoundCloud, we're gonna explain it to you. But if you want to see it, go to our YouTube channel. Well, so you take the finger and you go start with the thumb, and you go up and you breathe in, and then you go down. You take out. Inhale, up, exhale, down, inhale, down, exhale, inhale, down, exhale, inhale, down, exhale. So I use this with Theta when she's scared or she's sad or something, when she's like moving on to all these emotions. I told her to use her hand and her fingers, and then she can have the monster of calm down.
Did it work?
Yeah, it's working. She'll really like it. She think it's a game. So she does it and she loves it. I love it too. I do it too, like you, Mrs. Hott. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had never done until you were talking about it with Ithaca, and then it was 3:00, and I'm like, how do I stop thinking? I went, so neighbors, whether you have toddlers or if you're in menopause,
from 2 to 92, young and old,
right? Menopause, right? Pause. And thank you for your tip, Sheima. And I hope neighbors, maybe that's a tip that you can try someday. If you heard it on SoundCloud or you're watching on YouTube, I find it helpful. And by the time I got to the end, I figured out some things that were making me impatient, and I was able to relax. I was able to be more mindful.
Yeah, so, and you didn't need nothing, just your hand.
Pause. That's another topic.
Yeah, we can do a podcast about it.
All right, Miss Sheima, I think it's time to go. Thank you for sharing those tips with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And I think we're ready to close.
Sure.
And get ready for next week. Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Hott. Thank you, neighbors. That was awesome. And a big thank you for you all to joining us. And remember, neighbors from 2 and 92, young and old, it's been fun podcasting with you today. We hope you find some positive actions out in the world this week. Bye.
Bye, Ms. Sheima. Thanks so much. Neighbors, thank you. Remember this, you are unique. You are important, and you are wonderfully made. Thanks for joining our podcast today called Positive Actions for Emotional Wellness with tips from i.com. Look them up. Oh, inc.com. Yes, the link will be here on our SoundCloud. 4 tips to help you be a more patient person. Science says it'll make you happier. Try it out this week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.